Yeah, it was an interesting week for us. We had a excellent result against a very tough Lehigh last weekend at Northwestern. Finished up that tournament and then went and played a good Butler team. Unfortunately, came out on the wrong end of that. And last night played a team that was in the Sweet 16 last year in Portland. And compliment to their players, they went down a player, and they found a way to make the play to win the game. And you got to compliment those kids for their performance. We're very much in kind of a one or two step forward, one step back type of mode with a lot of our kids right now. Some guys are being expected to do things that they've not been asked to do in the past. But also, it's time, as I said to them, you know, college sports is about adversity. It's about the toughness you have to have game in and game out, from the classroom to the practice field to the matches. And some of the guys probably at this point need to maybe look in the mirror and realize, the effort is there, the quality and the discipline and the toughness to win at this level, it needs to get better. And we'll be back out there today. We've got this is the first real working week we've had where we're not too tired to get some work in before this Big Ten opener down at Indiana on the Big Ten Network, which will be a tremendous challenge for us.
Questions? Brian?
This is a pretty tough stretch. I mean, what you just went through and what you're going to continue after Indiana, this is a tough stretch for your club, isn't it?
Yeah, no question. And, you hear Coach Sheffield talk about, we don't want to put, not that there's any cupcakes in college athletics, but we're out there challenging ourselves to play a Big East team on the road at Butler and the Butler Bowl on turf, turn around and play a team that was in the Sweet 16 last year in Portland. And you hope those moments prepare the guys better for Big Ten soccer, because the chips get higher now. We're a third of the way through our season. We've seen some growth. We've seen some things that as a coach you look at as barometers. The last two games we've given up a goal within 10 minutes of the start of the second half. And those are markers that stronger teams, more resilient teams, as my assistant coaches say, when are we going to get a team to overtime right now? Show that resiliency. And it's something that we had last year. We won a lot of games in overtime, but we got the game to overtime. When are we going to pitch out a shutout? And, it's time to dig deep. And, felt like I've been very positive with the guys after some of the results, realizing that they're being asked to maybe do things that they haven't been asked before. But it's also time to step up, man up, basically. If you really want to put your mark on this program, you've got to find it in yourself to have, better quality performances, both individually and collectively.
Jay?
So does that make this a working week even more important to emphasize things as you hit the Big Ten season?
Absolutely. And, I think I mentioned in the last press conference, we had to shift the system a little bit due to some injuries. We've had a couple of games now, call it in system. We need to work on some things, some finer details. We don't have a day off until Saturday this week, the way we've scheduled it, and we knew this break was going to be good going into the Big Ten schedule. We've got to get guys healthy. We've got to get guys fresh again. But we just need to up our level of focus and commitment to little things that win or lose you soccer games at this level.
Todd?
John, how have players responded to that? I mean, you want them to feel some of the buy-in. You want to see that out of them right away. Have you seen it that they are accepting of that message?
Good question, Todd. After the Lehigh game, I think I was in this same room saying how proud I was, and I was extremely proud again Thursday night against Butler. We battled for 90 minutes. I cannot fault the effort level. The effort is there. Now it's finding the quality and the moments of the game that matter. And, as I said, as a team that gives up a goal within 10 minutes of the start of the second half in two straight games, those are critical moments of collegiate soccer games. You talk about the last 5 minutes of the first half, You talk about the first 10 minutes of second half, and that's the world over. That's just soccer. Those are barometers that saying we're just not resilient enough in those moments to get through that period of time. And you compliment the kid for hitting a great goal from from both Butler and Portland, actually. But what could we have done differently in that moment? Could we have been a little bit tougher to play against? And we're asking some questions of some guys right now. There's no question. When you're 2-4, but the kit gloves need to come off just a little bit. College athletics is tough, and it's one of the reasons so many people want former collegiate athletes working in their businesses. These guys go to school all day. They play games every 3-4 days. It's a tough environment to be successful, but that's what tests you too and makes you a better man when you're through it.
I know VAR is reaching all levels of soccer. Are you comfortable with how it's being used in the Big Ten, and how I know you've been part of the processes of getting the language in the rule book over the past few years? How do you feel about how it's being used right now?
As we, I think, in the soccer community, I am the chair of the NCAA Rules Committee right now. We're excited what it can offer. We've actually had it used in a few games here. We're very fortunate in the Big Ten Conference. They made a commitment to getting that technology for us. It's not cheap, and thank you to the Big Ten as well as Wisconsin for doing it across the board for the Big Ten. My issue right now a little bit is, rules are written for 3 divisions, both genders. And, when I hear a UCLA men's soccer doesn't have the capabilities yet, and we all know technology, the price will go down here in the near future. But I have been, I wouldn't say fighting, but a proponent of let's be careful how far we take this right now. It's going to be good for the sport going forward, but I believe it needs to be equitable. The team that we played last night, I don't believe had played a game yet this season with VAR. VAR was used, and they suffered the consequences for a play off the ball. And they were frustrated, as well as UAB a couple weeks ago. I guess this might be a good time to say, referees have a job out there, and I think the refereeing in this country is excellent. I think we as coaches have a job to do as well. And, it's within the coaches community. I compliment our players with some of the undisciplined plays that we're seeing against us for them to keep their discipline. Now, that's a great barometer of, that's in check within our team, and that's not easy to do. But we've had one game where the other team played down 2 men. Last night, the team played down 1 man. Probably last week, one of the teams we played should have played down a man. These are things as a coaching community we've got to decide where the future of the sport is as well. And it's been a bit unfortunate, but I do compliment our guys because they have not gotten caught up in it. And when things like that happen to you as a player and someone's trying to injure you potentially, it's hard sometimes to keep your emotional composure, and our guys have been doing an outstanding job of that.
Jay?
What's the atmosphere going to be like for Friday's game at Indiana?
Friday night, Big Ten Network at Indiana. There'll be over 5,000 people there supporting their team. They've got a great tradition. They were in the Final Four last year. It's a game we all look forward to. Kids want to play in front of a big crowd. Kids want to play in a great college environment. Kids want to be on the Big Ten Network. We're not on the Big Ten Network every week. So I think any player on our team, any performer is excited about this week. And now we just got to sharpen things up and hopefully go in and make it tough on them for 90 minutes and hopefully find our moments of joy as well.
Brian?
How is your club health-wise? Last time you were here, you said 7 of your 11 starters were banged up. How is it now?
Unfortunately, yeah, had another concussion on Thursday night. Actually, 2. One of them, fortunately, was very, very minor. He was able to participate in the game last night. The other young man, we're in the protocol right now. We'll see where he's at. A couple others, it will depend on how things go this week with our training staff, whether they would be available. We're getting closer with some of those guys. I can't sit here and say 100% we're getting 2 or 3 of them back for Friday night. You know, we're still going to be asking a lot out of a lot of guys that don't have a ton of minutes at the collegiate level. That's just the facts.